The drama begins with 4 young men saying goodbye to their 5th brother, who is about to turn into a bubble. As it turns out, he fell in love with a human girl, and the girl broke up with him because he's not human. He's a merman who is a crown prince. As we see, the most handsome Lee must get married because he is the crown prince and must marry first and have children. His father keeps convincing him to get married, but he already has a phobia of girls and doesn't want to get married. At the same time, in the human world, Meow is with her boyfriend. After he was promoted at the company, they decided to celebrate it. Then she gets to learn that he promised his boss to sell Meow's beach house, which surely upsets Meow because he knows she'll never sell it because it's so important to her family. But Nan doesn't care at all about her feelings and reassures his boss that once he marries her, the house will be his, and he can sell it, so she gives him 1 week's notice. Meow goes to the beach to be alone for a while, but her chain falls off and she tries to catch it. But unfortunately, she drowns in the sea. Fortunately, there was a merman and immediately rushed to save her, but suddenly she kisses him, and something comes to her from him. Later, she regains consciousness and finds herself on the beach, and Nan comes to take her home, wonders what happened to her there, but she doesn't know what happened. A time later, she finds a tired man asking her for a drink. He is Lee, and after he has drunk all the water, still isn't sufficient for him, and now he wants to drink from the fish tank all the water. She brings him a whole bottle of water to drink and tells him to finish it and go home. He tells her that he won't move from the house because he has to return the pearl that was transferred to her from him, and she thinks he's tired or perverted and slaps him in the face. He tells her what happened and proves to her that he is a prince and a mermaid, and that he is not human. At this point, she is shocked and faints, realizing that it is real, and he tells her that if she doesn't return the pearl, they will both die soon. Later, Nan comes to her and asks her to marry him because he loves her, and Lee comes out and tells Nan that he can't marry her because she is his beloved and no one else can touch her. Meow comes in and tries to resolve the situation, telling Nan that it's just a misunderstanding. He tells her to kick him out of the house. It's either she or Lee in this house. She says him go out. He can't go out right now, and she'll explain it to him later. She goes to Lee and says, I don't want you in the house, but I have to because I'll die if you don't take your pearl, so go ahead and take it. But he doesn't know how to get the pearl, so they keep trying all ways, but none of them work. He tells her, we didn't try the way I got it for you. That is brushing. She tells him to forget about it because she has feelings for other man. He tells her he hates women and don't want to get close, but he suggests that he lives with her until he gets his pearls back, because if they are too far apart, they will both die. Meow still rents out rooms in the house like a dormitory, but it's been so long that not even a single person visits. Lee wonders why she's holding on to the house when she's already losing and gaining nothing from it. She tells him that her brother has been missing for a long time, and that this address is the only one her brother knows, and she is hoping that he will return one day. After that, Lee starts cleaning the house, and 2 girls see him and like him because he is very handsome, and they decide to live with him in the house. He decides to use his good looks to attract tenants. His brothers come to rescue him and take him and run, and Meow runs after them. But Lee realizes that he can't stay away from her because his pearl is still with a girl. They beg her to let them stay with her in the house, but she doesn't agree because of the small number of rooms. The 4 of them think about how to return the pearl. One of them suggests that they take her life, and each one tells the other to do it, until she wakes up and catches them doing it. When she asks them, what are they doing in her neighborhood? One of them simply says, they were going to take her life, as if to say, they'll take her to dinner. He tells them that he can't get the pearl by taking her life and shows them the way the pearl was transported, and they tell him that he needs to use the same method to get the pearl back. Lee is determined and tells them over her dead body. Her house is full of tenants, accusing someone of coming in and finding a bug in her food, who is the one who did it, continues to scream loudly and insist that he report her. Lee and his brother heard her voice, realized that she was in trouble, and decided to help her. Just as Lee starts talking, Nan comes in and says he's her fiancé and takes her aside, silently telling this person to end the matter. If she did it, She simply admitted that the food actually had a bug in it and told him that she was sure it was clean. Not to mention that she doesn't even have the money to pay. Compensation. He suggests that she signs a contract to sell the house, and then she has the money. But she refuses and tells him that the conversation is over. Lee intervened and said, "If you want money, I have a lot of money. I can pay you what you want." But Meow decided to call the police because was sure the food was clean, and the fraudster began to scream. So 4 guys caught him, and suddenly a bag of bugs appeared. Everyone understands his lies and he apologizes, after he just retreats. Then Lee takes her and tells her that she has to see something for herself. When she sees talking to Nan, she realizes that the whole thing was Nan's plan in the first place. She confronts Nan in shock and tells him that she will never sell the house and will break up with him. He tells her that she's not beautiful, and she must have broken up with him for that rich man. She says that this is true and that she will marry him. At night, she finds Lee and his brothers have drunk all the water in the house, so she tells them to earn money while they're here. Then they think she's upset about her breakup with that fake boyfriend, so they have to do something to make it easier for her, and she decides to use their good looks to work on the house to attract all the girls. The house is full of people, especially the girls, and she raises a lot of money. At the same time, Nan's boss realizes what's going on and orders the men to kidnap her. As soon as she is kidnapped, Lee feels a very bad ache and realizes that his pearl is in danger, so he immediately goes after her, but they knock him down and take him away. When the woman looks at them and notices that he has a special bracelet on his hand, she realizes that he is a mermaid prince and turns to the girl and realizes that it belongs to Meow, and it turns out that is not human. Bai orders her bodyguards to let them go, but only after they beat up Lee. Lee regains consciousness and tries to escape with Meow, but Bai's bodyguards surround them and he tries to protect her but gets stabbed. Then he tells her to get him to a pool or lake. She watches them from afar. Meow quickly reserves a full bath for Lee and saves him, telling him that he must live. She takes care of him until he's fine, and she also has to pay for the plunge pool, because she booked the whole place so that no one can know he's not a human. The moment of regret comes, and she's actually paying a lot of money for it. His tears are like pearls that he takes and gives to the girl, so Lee wants to help. He takes his brother aside to pinch him and make him cry. At home, Meow feels something strange and notices that her body is starting to feel like a fish. She screams and gets Lee in her room, and he tells it's because of the pearls in her pocket, and she tells him he has to take it. His brothers think she is about to hurt him. Suddenly they open the door and feel embarrassed when they see them doing this to each other. Lee told them to not get the wrong idea. He was just putting lips to her to get the pearls back, nothing more. But then he tells her that they should try to brush each other in the water, just as back then the pearls were transferred to her somehow. But that still doesn't work, and Lee is choking and unable to breathe because he doesn't have a pearl. Later, Bai realizes that Lee and his brothers are staying at Meow's house and changes her plans totally. Lee was surprised by her aunt, who brought a mermaid named Momo to marry him, but suddenly Meow intervened and realized that Lee understood what had happened and did not know how to return the pearl, after Lee said he would not agree because he would be his boyfriend. This is due to the fact that in their reference book, there are 3 pages cut out and you can't be found. His uncle thinks he is in love with her, but when he sees that the pearl is still blue, he realizes that there is no love because the color of the pearl had to turn red for the first time. He apologizes to Momo and tells her that Lee has a girlfriend and will take her back to her parents, but she tells him that she wants to be with them for 2 or 3 days. Momo keeps sticking it to him every time he's around, and he runs away from her and sticks it to Momo, but she can't stand herself and seems jealous, but she can't do anything. Then, she sees a competition for the best housing and wants to participate and apologizes to her. But a strange thing happens. Later, everybody gets to know about the contest. To get the prize, they need to participate, so she let them work and clean the house very well. Bai gives the key back to Meow and tells her that the key is dropped. Bai encounters one of Lee's brothers, Qian, who realizes that he is not a human, but a fish like them, and even his uncles are surprised, since their clan produces only men. He pretends to be weak and tells them that he can't go back to the sea because he can't breathe in the water. They tell her that she is considered one of their family members, and they ask her to be with them, and she agrees. But Meow is not alone. Bai lets Momo clean the pool and tells her that every time Lee comes down, he will think about her, and Momo is as happy. Bai puts the substance in the water, causing him to have an allergic reaction, and of course leaves the house. Lee asked Meow why was angry, and she told him that she had bought the entire beach before, and Meow refused to sell. Lee's brother tells him that the fish is fine, so he must have done everything wrong. Then Lee fainted because he was weak without the pearl, and they say that Meow lost the peel, but they can't get it back. He takes 3 of the missing 2 pages from the book, gives Kian to help his brother, says he has no other pages, and of course assumes the role of savior. 2 pages tells him that he needs to find his true love, and then the pearl will turn red and he can take back. Otherwise, she will turn into a balloon. Lee refuses and says he doesn't want the pearl to turn red because he doesn't want to love or get married. And of course, Meow says the same thing. Then, Bai pretends to be nice and apologizes that she was trying to buy her house, saying that she was buying the whole beach to meet her clan, and since she's already met them, she doesn't want anything else. Of course, they all tell her that they have become her family and trust her. Bai and Lee's brothers plan to help him and Meow fall in love. They lock him in her basement and even turn off the electricity to romanticize the situation. And because Lee is afraid of pets, they don't mind putting a cat with them, as it brings them closer together. But Meow is terrified of the cat too, so he tells her that she's afraid of the cat too. They quickly come out and tell them that they have finally decided to tie the knot and fall in love. As for Bai, she plans to make Cian fall in love with her in order to take advantage of him, who actually likes her. It turns out that Bai has a missing 3rd page, and that there are fewer female mermaids than male mermaids due to a genetic mutation. In addition, female mermaids are just like humans and are born without a pearl, which is why they can't live more than 25 years if they don't receive a pearl from a mermaid prince, who must have a true love for them. They will leave this world if they don't get the pearl. So she plans for Lee and Meow to fall in love with each other, but Cian is already so in love with her that he goes to her house, prepared with food, and is about to see the missing paper she has with her. So she goes close to him and hides it before he sees it, and he gets nervous and walks away immediately. Meanwhile, Lee and Meow go out on a romantic date by the sea and seem very happy. Meow hears a young man telling about how he used to live in her house. She thinks he's her brother, asks him about his age and family, and shows him the chain she has. He, apologizing, tells her that he is not the man she is looking for. After she gets tired and passes out, Lee rushes to her and realizes that it's because of the pearls in her body being for a long time. They sit next to each other, while Nan watches them and realizes that he is not human. Afterward, they all think of a solution for the pearl, and Lee's brothers go to ask their uncle, since he has more experience. But Cian stays with Bai, who gives him a sleeping pill and makes him drink it, then kidnaps Meow and Lee. Later, when they regain consciousness, she tells him that he has 2 choices. One is to commit an act of leaving this world, and then the pearl will come out of Meow, and Bai will take it. The second choice is Meow has done it, then the pearl will come out of Meow, and Bai will take it. In this moment, he sacrifices himself, as opposed to Meow being fine, and the pearl turning red and coming out of Meow, and being taken by Bai. Suddenly, Nan, who has been watching them from afar, tells Bai that he knows everything, and takes the pearl from her. Kian is also kidnapped. When he finds out that Meow is in love with Lee, he threatens her to either sign a contract to sell her house or throw Lee into the sea. Of course, Meow quickly signs the contract to save him, and Nan gets even more nervous because he realizes that she loves him, so he throws him into the sea, knowing that she has a phobia of water and won't be able to save him. He then talks to the person he had agreed with on the Meow house, but they tell him that he stopped the house, and he gets angry, throws the contract away, and goes to Bai, because she is the reason he's just lost everything. After that, Bai quickly takes the pearl, and Cian tells her that he will give her his pearl, but she returns the pearl to Lee. She realizes that his pearl has turned red, which means that he loves her. But in the meantime, Nan gets up to attack him, but Bai takes the stab instead of Cian. Finally, Lee's brothers tie Nan up, but Bai returns the pearl to Lee and refuses to take Cian's pearl, showing that she really loved him. And because of their true love, she creates a sea pearl and lives afterward. After a while, they celebrate Meow's birthday together, and Bai returns the last missing piece of paper for reference finally. Lee surprises Meow by finding her brother and bringing him to her, and Meow wishes that they could always live together and be happy together.